So, hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Progressive Gamer Podcast, your one-stop shop for all the gaming news you need to know about. My name is Rick, your host for today, and by my virtual side is a returning guest. Welcome to the podcast, Garden.
Hi.
And to our virtual side, for another returning guest, it's probably not Paris. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
What's up with you guys? Any new games you tried since the last time we met?
I have been playing Hi-Fi Rush, like I said I was going to,
Nice.
and I've been loving it.
I played a little bit too. What about you, Garden?
I played what's that game called? Resident Evil 4 demo. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was a big one that released recently. So this week we have 8 items on the menu. First off, there was a Paradox announcement show that happened this week. Secondly, PlayStation big boss Jim Ryan stated in Brussels that he just wants to block the deal concerning the Activision Blizzard buyout from Microsoft and that he was not open to any dealings. Thirdly, Discord is dropping on PS5. Fourthly, Resident Evil remake coming out very soon. And it has a polemic regarding Ashley's underwear. We'll talk about more later. Fifth story comes from Konami. After announcement of Silent Hill 2 remake and the launch of Dead Cells Return to Castlevania this week, they tease that they are not done with the franchise. Sixth story, Starfield got a delay and a release date, an official one. They also announced a new event that's going to happen on the 11th of June. It's going to be a Starfield Direct where they're going to show a lot more information about the game. Seventhly, there's another event called the Nacon Connect that happened this week. It's a smaller event, but there was still a lot of video game announcements that happened there. And 8 news this week is about The Last of Us Season 2 and 3 ? There is news from the creator of the game that the second season and the third season might... the second part of the game, The Last of Us Part 2, might be separated in more than one season. So first off, let's start with the Paradox announcement. Paradox is mainly a developer, a PC developer with a lot of experience with strategy games. So no wonder this presentation was filled with every type of strategy game possible. So for that crowd, this event was really nice. It's a very niche market. There's not a lot of... it's not that big of a market, the strategy game one, but let's see what they announced. So first off, there was the Lamplighters League, which is going to be releasing on Game Pass. It's a strategy game, co-op. It looks kind of cartoonish, Indiana Jones style. There was a Crusader King 3 expansion. There was Across the Obelisk DLC. There was Mecha Bellum, which was a mecha auto battler. It looked like an automated RTS. There was Night 3 of Pen and Paper, which is like a Dungeon and Dragon turn-based RPG, 2D style. There was a Life by You, which was a Sims-like game where it looked like a new version of The Sims, which looked a lot more open and stuff. There was Europa Universalis 4. There was Age of Wonders 4, Victoria 3, Stellaris First Contact, Surviving the Aftermath Rebirth, and City Skyline 2 was like the big announcement at the end of the show. So what's interesting to me in this list was Age of Wonders 4. I played Age of Wonders 2 when I was very young, and I like to see what they can bring up with the franchise. Is there anything that catches your eyes at this event, Garden? Is there anything there that you would be interested in?
Okay, so I do have like City Skylines 1. I didn't get to like do a full-on playthrough, but I know what it's like. It's very similar to like SimCity, and I've played a game like SimCity before. And seeing that they're coming up at the second one is very interesting to me because I didn't think they were going to do something like that where they were like, "Ooh, we're gonna just create another game for this, so people can, build, cities and stuff like that." So that kind of, like, caught my attention.
Also, I hear
Yeah.
from the community that City Skyline is a worthy successor to Sim City.
Mhm.
A lot of
Yeah.
people like this game. So, what
Oh, yeah,
about
SimCity
you?
was fun. Yeah.
What about you, Prolly, or what do you think about this event?
I am a fan of strategy games, but I'm not a fan of grand strategy games. I feel like they're a little bit too much for me on the whole, honestly.
What do you mean by
But I
grand strategy game?
so games like the Victoria one, the
Oh yeah,
Europa
like
Universalis.
Europa, yeah, like
Yeah,
worldly conflict.
yeah. Like as soon as you start having me manage like my port officers for my ships and then like paying them, I'm like, nah, this is a little bit too much for me. But I did like the look of Lamplight League. That game seems like it's kind of up my alley. It's a little bit of strategy, a little bit of character development. You gotta like kick them
Yeah,
out
it
for
looked like a
situations that you're in.
co-op XCOM style. It looks pretty nice, like the graphics and all, and it's gonna be free on Game Pass. This was one of the stuff that got me interested too.
You
I'm
know, that
at
Game
least
Pass
gonna
is
try it
sounding
out.
nice, man.
Yeah.
After Hi-Fi Rush, that Game Pass is looking really appealing. I'm not gonna lie.
And this is also like the opener. Like that was like one of the biggest announcement. They passed a lot more time on this game than most of the other one. The title though is a little mouthful, like the Lamplighters League, the and the journey with the tower at the end of the world, something like that. It's a
Yeah,
mouthful. So yes,
I I do like the Lamplighter League, the triple L in there. It's like
yeah,
nice
too
wordplay,
much.
but yeah. But then yeah there.
Secondly, there was still new stuff regarding the Activision Microsoft buyout this week. PlayStation big boss Jim Ryan said in Brussels to another CEO that he just wants to block the deal. Whatever happens, this is just another event in the multiple of toxic news regarding this deal. This deal is taking a long time, and at this point, I think it exposes the worst in the industry. With CEOs saying bad stuff like this, exposing sketchy dealings in the industry from every constructor and deal signing all around the. And I feel like we are far from the time when all the CEOs got on stage at the Game Awards together, and they show like how much of a child playground you can be, like, and acting like yeah, nasty against each other and all. So what do you think about Jim Ryan blanket statement about that he doesn't want to make a deal and just wants to block this?
I think it's pretty bad faith. Like as a businessman to come in and waste everybody's time just to say like, yeah, you know, I want to make sure that nobody else can play Call of Duty on any other platform, so they have to come to me. It's like, all right, man.
Well, it's the
That's
opposite. He wants to have Call of Duty come on every platform.
oh,
He doesn't want to sign a deal with Microsoft that gives him Call of Duty for only 10 years and then Microsoft can do an exclusivity. So he's
oh, I
like,
thought
I
I not
just
heard
don't
of
want the
that.
merger to with Microsoft and Activision to happen ever.
Yeah, I thought he said that he was worried about players not feeling like PlayStation was a hub for coming to Call of Duty, or was that another person? I mean, maybe I
Well, yeah,
misread that.
he wants PlayStation to be one of the hub for Call of Duty for sure, because Call of Duty is mostly played on PlayStation because PlayStation has the most sold console on the market. So, of course, it's a bigger community on PlayStation than it is on Xbox. But I don't know. For me, I feel like Jim Ryan saying that he would never accept anything from Microsoft and he just wants this deal to be blocked. So whatever Microsoft proposed to him, like he would never negotiate if he just doesn't want the deal to happen, which I think is pretty toxic. Like you need to be open in discussions, and those court cases are going both ways, and Microsoft is trying to, sign some stuff with people, so the deal seems less intense. And on their part, they're just not cooperating, and like, I'm not trying to fix the problem. That's pretty much what Jim Ryan said. It's either the deal doesn't go
Yeah.
through, but he won't accept any secession from Microsoft.
No, I just want to block your market.
So let's say Microsoft tomorrow says, "Oh, we're gonna give you Call of Duty license forever." Well, Jim Ryan just doesn't want the merger to happen, so it would be a nose tail, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's a pretty bad thing to say from him. What do
Yeah,
you
because
think?
it already sours the deal, right? Like, there's already no chance of coming back from that because the guy came in saying they're like, "Yep, I don't care what you have to say. No matter what you say, I'm just gonna say no."
Yeah, so then how can he goes to court like and defend when Microsoft is trying to negotiate? You know, if one
Yeah,
of the party just doesn't want to negotiate.
yeah, that is interesting. And this is Activision, right? They're already really, really huge company, a little bit too big.
Yeah, they're as big as Sony almost. What about
Yeah.
you, Garden? What do you think about this issue?
I think he was trying to make it into their best interest because he did mention that um it's like it would be a better they have like better terms than if Microsoft went with Activision. So I don't know. I think he was just talking within their best interest, honestly.
Yeah, it's in their best interest for the deal not to happen for sure.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
at one point, you have to be open with the negotiation if these companies wants to merge. It's like
True.
it's a messy situation, and like it looks like a playground there. Like
Yeah.
it's
But
Yeah.
it's more of it, like probably was trying to say it's more of a selfish thing. It's kind of like
yeah,
a me
exposes like the
me.
selfishness of every
Yeah.
company right there. And now
Yeah.
there it's gonna
Exactly.
expose Sony because now the FTC and other markets are asking for them to show them like all of the dealings, exclusivity deals that they did with companies outside of their own. So, like, I know that a couple of years ago, there was a deal with Resident Evil 8 when it came out that it should never release on Game Pass. So, like, these kind of deals are gonna get, like, scrutinized, and I don't think it's gonna look good for anyone. Yeah. So talking about PlayStation, but for better news, Discord dropped on PlayStation 5 this week with full of
Hmm.
feature. We all met on Discord. We are recording from there. So what do you think about this integration? Are you glad Discord makes his way to all platforms available? Garden.
Um. Yeah. Like okay. First of all, I was pretty excited when I saw that. Like one day I just logged in on Discord and then they said like it's basically going to combine with PS5 and PS5 is coming to Discord. And I was pretty excited about that because I don't have PS5, but people who do have PS5s, now they can join with their PS5 and we can like, you know, play games and like
In
they could
VC,
share.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I want I wonder if Xbox does that because,
Yeah, Xbox
um,
had the release like a couple months ago.
yeah, because like, I had friends that would get in on Discord on their Xbox and they would be able to like, like
I
I
hear
don't know
there
if it
are
was.
some functionality that aren't there, like seeing a stream of someone or whatever,
Mhm.
but it's still
Yeah.
like VC and everything available.
Honestly, one thing I wish that both Xbox and PlayStation would do is where you can like invite people to games through there because like that was one of the things that I kind of needed to do with my friend because it would have made it easier. Yeah, to like join games through like those cross platformings. And so
Oh,
that's
kind of
one
like
thing that
Steam has, right?
yeah, yeah, they should do that. Yeah. I think that would be a phenomenal. That would just like erase so many issues. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what
Maybe
about
you
you,
could.
Crowley?
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a nice little bit of modernization. One thing I
Mhm.
always loved about Xbox from when I was a kid playing with it, it was kind of PC like, where you could play a game and then you could have a music track playing, or you could listen to something like that you downloaded on your PC or Xbox, right?
Yeah, I
And
remember
Yeah,
this
yeah, because it's
stuff.
Microsoft, so that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, so now to see
Mhm.
Discord coming through, it's like, wow, will I be able to voice chat through the Xbox on Discord as
Yep.
well for like certain games that
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't offer voice chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wait, didn't they have that thing though, like where you could log in through? Remember when Xbox 360 came out, and then they had like the first Xbox kind of app on Microsoft, and you can connect. But you have to have your Xbox on at the time. You can connect and have games like shadow to your computer or whatever, your PC.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember
hmm
that.
Yeah,
Wait,
man.
what?
Xbox and Microsoft, they have a lot of integration with PC and a lot of PC-like
Yeah.
features on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
external storage.
Well,
They were the first ones
now
to do it, though.
they
Yeah.
pretty much
Mm-hmm.
merged the whole ecosystem with the Game Pass thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Xbox as a exclusive is pretty much done now. It's all gonna be Xbox and PC. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really nice move from Microsoft. So now let's talk about one of my favorite game of all time, Resident Evil 4, and the remake that is coming out in 10 days. There's a polemic behind the game, and I gotta tell you, it's a wild one. So, in the original game, when there was a character called Ashley, which he is following you throughout like 3/4 of the game, and you could try and look under her skirt and you can see like her underwear, and then she would like have an animation where she would tell you you're a pervert or whatever. And
Ooh, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like this game that I play called Omega Quintet. It's exactly like that,
oh
where you
boy.
can, but you can't look under the skirt. As soon as you try to, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Trying to look under my
Yeah,
skirt."
but now
I
they
actually think that's a
decided,
cute feature.
yeah, but on the remake they decided to cut that, and now she just won't have an animation for that. So there was a big reaction from like fans saying that it affects the character, and like I say fans as wild. I don't think they are like true fans or whatever, but they are calling to like boycott the game and everything, and saying that it's a censorship for the character and everything. So, what do you think about this, Gordon? You think that this is censorship, or you think that this is gonna you're gonna miss something with the game? You played the demo, so I don't think in the demo you've seen Ashley because the demo is early in the game, I think. But
Um, I didn't see Ashley.
yeah,
It was such a beginning type of game, but I'm gonna just say this, like, first of all, I'm excited for this remake because it just seems like a really good game, and I love the graphics, very realistic, awesome stuff. Um, Second of all, I think this is such a stupid thing to argue about. Like, it's so retarded. Like, who cares if they just change this minor thing? Like, it doesn't affect the game much. Like, you're gonna still enjoy the game, to be honest. Yeah, it's a little cute thing that they added, just like I said, like Quintet, Omega Quintet, where the characters would like freak out if you try to look under the skirt. But it's like it's just an addition. It's just something that they added to make her character a little, more cute or something, but they removed it because they were just like, we don't want that in there, and it's fine. Like, I don't know why people are freaking out about that. I
well,
think
I
people
think
are
it
trying to.
shows a bad side of the gaming community where every
Hmm.
time there's a game that comes out, a remake,
Hmm.
like it's being scrutinized like crazy, and anything
Um,
that goes wrong is gonna be like pushed and like exposed like crazy, and it's gonna be the end of the world. But in the end,
Honestly,
like,
I'm thinking it's something a little different. Like, they always want to add a little bit of politics to it. Because, like, in my opinion, I do believe like this has to do with a little bit of politics because I think I don't know if like they completely removed the animation where you can see under her skirt, or if they just removed the part where she just like says you're creepy. Like, which one is it? Huh? Like, if it's the part that they just you can't see under her skirt or whatever, then it's like I feel like it's a political thing that people are getting mad because they probably just did that so that they can kind of like take away, like, sometimes they like to take away a little bit of like uh sexual things in terms of like for women, right? In characters.
Yeah.
They sometimes try to do that in games, and people like get all mad and like create this political thing, which
But I
it
think
could not
that
even.
at this point, this is gonna be good for the game because the game released in 10 days, and
Hmm.
it makes people talk about the game. So it's good
Hmm.
for them. It's visibility. It's publicity. There's no such
Hmm.
thing as bad publicity. So in the end, I think that this is gonna be good for Resident Evil 4 remake, even though this is stupid as hell.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because I feel like when people see that, they're gonna buy the game just so they can get to that part, right?
I am really curious though to see if like yeah, you're right about the voice lines and things like that. Like that would make so much sense to keep that in. But if you're just not
Yeah,
about to
it'd
see
be
the
cute.
pain, and it's like, well, then yeah, it's just perverts complaining, right? But I did
Yeah,
kind of want to
exactly.
touch on like the Japanese audience, the kind of ones
Hmm.
that like enjoy that kind of stuff, the fan servicey type
Yeah, because
deal.
Capcom is a Japanese
Hmm.
video game company. This is
Hmm.
Hmm.
Japanese devs.
Yep, yep. So when they take that stuff out, right, it's like, oh, the fans are screaming like, "Yo, you took out something that I liked or enjoyed about the game," and it's like, why are you being weird about it? Like you're saying that
And
this thing that
what
I
is
enjoy
there
is
to
weird.
like about one animation?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What kind of enjoyment do you get from Harry calling you a pervert? Like, I don't
Um,
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
that.
I think it's like I said, I think it's some sort of political thing. They're just like, oh my God, they're trying to, it's the feminists again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing the
true.
victim of like
Yeah. Yeah. Just like
censorship and
they,
everything, which I don't think is
yeah.
censorship. I mean, it's just a
Hmm.
choice. Like,
Yeah, that's why I said it has to do with politics because like there's like many games where people will complain like, "Oh my God, they made her less busty, like they made her flat." Ugh, like chill, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
like, they like
Although
the
I do think it was kind
polygons.
of cool.
Like,
I do think it was kind of cool sometimes where I don't know if you remember those shield enemies with the maces. I don't know if you remember going through like the cathedral and then running through there and then like they bash you and they knock you on the ground and you got to get back up. Sometimes if you're knocked on the ground and you're like your face is pointing up at her skirt, she would be like, "You pervert," and I'd be like, "I just got the shit kicked out of me. Why are you yelling at me that I'm a pervert?" Like I remember just that moment. I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
it was pretty nice," but
And for
there's some
me,
It's a cute,
frustrating.
I
it's
feel
a
like it
cute
doesn't
twist,
fit
yeah.
with the character of Leon at all. Like, he's a police officer. He's very professional throughout the whole game, and like, why would he do
True,
that? Like,
exactly. So
Mhm.
that's why it's like, who are you calling pervert? I'm not a pervert. Get out of here.
Konami has been really active this couple of days, announcing a couple of Silent Hill projects, and now they released a collaboration between Dead Cell and Castlevania. Seems like the company is now up to revamp some of the franchise that they have. So on the article that IGN posted, they said we tried to bring back the games that people loved and cherished with the Castlevania Anniversary Collection and the Castlevania Advance Collection. We also brought back Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night for our PlayStation fans and on mobile, and launched Grimoire of Souls on Apple Arcade to celebrate the lore of the franchise. Taniguchi said. But we know that our fans always want more, and we do too. So this is the opportunity to have this amazing crossover with Dead Cells was impossible to pass up on. So I feel like with this statement, it shows that Konami is open to do some stuff with their franchise. Personally, I would really like them to go back to Metal Gear, even though Kojima is still not there. I feel like they really should do something with this franchise and not let it die. Konami, as I said, has a lot of franchise. If one of them could come back, which one would you prefer, Garden?
I'm not too particular, like have a favorite, but I probably would say like Dance Dance Revolution though.
That's a good one. That's a classic
Yeah.
one.
Good exercise.
A
Yeah.
lot of old games,
Yeah.
as I see in their licenses, Konami has not been really active with the newer generations. What about you? Probably not Paris.
If Konami did any game in today's day and age, I would probably be okay with Castlevania
Yeah, a new
because
one.
without Hideo, I don't see them doing any of the other big name ones. You know, but
Yeah, because
Yeah, like a new Zone of the Enders.
because
yeah.
the reason why I mentioned like Dance Dance Revolution is because like you know how what's that game Just Dance or whatever? They always make new games of Just Dance all
Yeah,
the time. I
Justin
know.
is killing it since it started on the Wii.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
popular.
Oh, that is interesting.
Exactly.
One. So
Yeah, that's
PDR
why.
could come back with this new technology. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they could do new versions of Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, yeah, I'm always a fan of a Metroidvania. You give me a Metroidvania, I'm on it.
Yeah, so maybe you should actually try because this week they released Dead Cell's Return to Castlevania, which I don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
you know the Dead Cell roguelike game.
yeah, it's in the library. Oh
Well,
yeah.
now you can download this expansion, and instead of in the first world where you choose between the worlds, where now you can go to the castle and start with this expansion, which is really nice. I hear in a really good way to do a callback to Castlevania and bring back the franchise in some way.
Yeah, I love Metroidvanias. I was thinking about going back to it after I finished Hi-Fi Rush on a completely new save file.
Yeah, and it's $10. Like it's really cheap.
Yeah, it's a lot of content for $10. It's a lot.
Well, $10 is the Return to Castlevania, but because I have a Game Pass, the game was already on Game Pass. Dead Cells.
Oh, I didn't know they were charging for the DLC. That's smart. I would do
Yeah.
that too.
So if you have already the game, as you say, ready to download, you pay $10 and you get the Return to Castlevania DLC. So yeah.
Yeah.
So now from a license from Microsoft, Bethesda team has news for us today. I'm talking about Starfield. Evidently, the game was supposed to come out in the first half of 2023, but is now pushed to September release date. But now at least we are fixed on a new date. So to add to the announcement, they also announced that on June 11 there's gonna be a Starfield Direct, and they are gonna give us a deep dive into the gameplay, and so it's gonna be a big event, and it's September 6th is the new release date, so it about like 3 months delay from the middle of the year. It's not that big of a delay. So are you excited for Starfield, and have you played the Elder Scrolls franchise or the Fallout franchise? Probably not Paris.
Yeah, I have actually. And it does look very interesting. I I have a lot to look forward with this company and the things that they do. But recently, I haven't been up to date with them, right? Like New Vegas was one of my favorite games. I love Fallout 3, but nowadays I'm not too sure if I have the time and energy to put into a new game like that. But I do have hopes for the future.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
always
that it
gonna be
had
long
some,
games, that's for sure. Like the one thing you can expect is a long game.
yeah, but like I would hope to expect like a rich world with like a cool story, like good groups and characters. But I mean, they're gonna have 1,000 planets. I'm not
Spread
too
on a
sure.
thousand planets. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to make good characters and spread around so much land.
Yeah, and it just makes you think of No Man's Sky. So I'm not too
Yes.
sure.
I'm
Although I
still
did see
on the
some gameplay.
verge. I don't know about this game. We'll
Mhm.
see.
I did see some gameplay that looked pretty nice. Shooting and monsters and everything. But nowadays these are generic components of a shooter. So who knows?
True.
And also the
Yeah,
shooting in Fallout is not the best. Like if you
yeah.
remember the mechanics in Fallout 4, like the shooting mechanics are not their specialty.
I
No,
mean,
not at all.
not to down this game or anything, but for some reason it just looks like it's like a sci-fi Halo game. Like not to be rude,
Yeah,
but it
like it
really is
doesn't look
like a
RPG
sci-fi
at
Halo game.
all from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
okay,
even more
there's a
sci-fi than Halo.
yeah, like it looks very first
Like
person
the Halo
shooter.
4, you know? Yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember Halo 4? Where like they had like different places they had to go to, different missions. They it just like the scenery kind of looks like it. Yeah, like all the robots and stuff like that you had to kill. it just looks like a Halo sci-fi game. Like it looks like you combine the Halo and then like the Halo 4, I mean, and then you combine that with sci-fi and in this game.
And
Yeah.
No Man's Sky world. Like,
Yeah.
and also I hear like there's not gonna be like landing on the planet freely like in No Man's Sky. So we'll see. There's a lot of stuff that they haven't showed us. I think June 11th is gonna be a good time to be informed about what the hell this game is gonna offer and everything. By this point, we're gonna be fake. So I'm really excited to see it. Last, well, not last news, but before last news, there was another event this week, and it's called the Nacon event, so, the Nacon Connect. So Nacon Connect is a more a smaller game company, a smaller publisher. Um, so the first game, the opening game, I was very interested into it. It kind of surprised me. It was Raven's Watch, which is roguelike Diablo style made by the creators of Curse of the Dead God. And it graphically looked really much like Curse of the Dead God, which is a game I really enjoyed. So this one was a good opening for me. Capes then was turn-based strategy game that looked like XCOM, but that one looked like crap in my opinion. Like then there was Hexate Ad Illuminum, something like that. It's like a horror first person game that is gonna be releasing. There was also a Shadow Drop, which with Clash Artifact of Chaos, which is a game that's already released. The reviews that I've seen are pretty meh. Like I've seen around 50% or some stuff like that. Doesn't look like that great of a game. The art style looked incredible though. It has is very good artistic vibes to it. Then there was a train simulator called Train Life. Session, the skateboarding game coming to Switch. TT Isle of Man 3, which is a franchise of motorcycle driving game. Then there was Transport Fever, a transport simulator. Then there was this depressing game called War Hospital, which is about management of a hospital during wartime, which looks like really harsh. This one was my favorite of the show. There was Gangs of Sherwood, which is like a Robin Hood like co-op game, which looked kind of nice. It looked cartoonish, and the character looked great. And yeah, that one was the biggest surprise for me. Then there was the two biggest announcement of this show. There was Gollum, which is a Lord of the Ring Gollum game, which is a stealth focused game. It looks better than it looked a year ago, but it still doesn't look like a Game of the Year contender for sure. And the biggest one was RoboCop, a new Rogue City, a new RoboCop game. This one looked funny. It didn't look like it's gonna break any grounds, but it was nice announcement. So, what do you think about this?
I think it's pretty meh. Like compared to the Nintendo Switch one,
Oh my god, yeah,
and yeah,
not
and
comparable at all. Like it's very small.
yeah, like and then the one that was before that, I forgot which one was before that.
The
Um,
Paradox event.
no, I mean the one that came before the Nintendo Switch one,
Oh,
because
the Xbox event. Yeah, the Xbox Direct.
yeah, yeah. So I just think like this is not comparison.
Oh
Like
no.
I'm not sure. I'm sure though that people are gonna probably like Gollum and probably RoboCop. I feel like these two games people might like they might be interested mostly in
Yeah.
playing, but I feel like the rest of the games though is a pretty meh. Like, I don't know. It wasn't very exciting. Like, I feel like it's just like oh, these new games come out. Okay, cool. You know,
I
it's
really
not like
wonder
a
who's the sick guy who wants to play War Hospital on a daily basis. Like, imagine what it is like working on this game. Oh yeah, so we're gonna do this thing because these guys died of starvation because the supply didn't come in. Like, what the hell? What the hell? So depressing.
That
Yo,
sounds
I'm
pretty
like,
cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of searched up the. I'm trying to search up to find images, and I'm just like, it's like, pretty meh. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. I'm not sure who is playing this game. Not gonna lie. It's like this is probably a very small niche, I
Yes.
believe.
But
Yeah,
this
Yeah,
this
is
is.
there's something
this I
out there
would
for
have
everybody, kind of
expected
thing.
more at the conference of Paradox. You know, it's a strategy game.
Yeah.
It's a
Woohoo.
management game. Uh, looks okay. Capes looks like the worst thing they showed up there. The superhero XCOM like looked like crap. The drawing of the characters looked nothing like the in-game assets, so it looked really weird. And the
Hmm.
enemies and the heroes looked like plastic. It was really, really not a good showing for this game, I think. And yeah,
Yeah, I would
the
agree with that.
for me, Raven's Watch. Yeah, Raven's Watch is the big one. Like
Same.
Raven's Watch looked like Curse of the Dead Gods, but with like five different heroes instead of only one. It looked like a very interesting game. And the first Curse of the Dead God was so well done. I think they can do great stuff with this one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see a roguelike that has like level up systems as well as like an ult, almost like a MOBA.
Yeah,
I'm
there
like,
was
huh,
ult for every of these heroes. Yeah.
yeah. I'm very interested in that. That does sound good.
And also, I like the heroes. There was like Medusa. There was
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Like, what the hell?
True. Yes,
Yeah.
the Aladdin one. Yeah.
There was like the Snow Queen and all. It was really nice. I like it. I like to see where it's
Hmm.
going.
Wait,
Yeah.
I've just seen on the list that they have like skating. Like, what is the game called? Session
Session
Skate Sim.
Mhm.
Skates them, yeah. It's already out
Okay,
on
because
PC and other platforms, but now it's releasing on Switch.
hmm,
Yeah. I'm kind of happy to see like a smaller company get out there and like, push their products.
I
Not
think
all of
people
them are great,
like this game
but
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Session is made in Montreal, I think.
yeah, but
yeah,
it looks
like
like they're casting a wide net. They're like, okay, let's shoot this out there. Let's take a grand strategy.
mhm,
Let's take a management game. Let's take like a
mhm.
roguelike
A
ARPG.
sports game. Yeah.
Uh huh. And it
And
looks like
then
they're
the
saying
big
wish list us.
franchises with Gollum and Robocop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've acquired some names. That is good to do.
Yeah.
So now they're trying to see. I've noticed that a lot of companies in these conferences are saying wish list us on Steam, right? I
Yeah.
wonder if that's a new metric to
No,
see
they've been
who's
doing
interested
that
in our
for
game.
years. They've been doing that for years. It's a very good metric
Mhm.
for them to see how many pre-orders they're gonna get and the excitement behind the game and getting more funding if they need it. And it's kind of like the
Oh,
green light thing, you know, when they sell their game before it's out. Like you can get producers if you sell enough, you know, and you show that people wants to play your game.
yeah,
It's a
it
really
is a way
good
to show
thing.
pointed interest. That is very true. So while some of the games don't look too good, I think that if they're done for like a well price point, then I think okay, I would like to see where the hopefully the passionate new developers will come in to try to wedge a space in between these giants. So
That's the
we'll see.
problem though. Like even the big games like Gollum and RoboCop, I thought looked like $40 games.
I hope they don't charge that much, but
Oh, I think they're gonna charge 79.
hmm,
Yeah,
most new companies can't afford the loss of running a business in the first 3 years. So we'll see if they end up doing the thing.
yeah, but they're publishing, so these are all companies doing their stuff. And Gollum and RoboCop, I think, are gonna be full price game, and they look like $40 game. You know, they look like smaller projects that wants to be big but don't have the funding behind it. Or yeah,
Yeah, publishing games is not easy.
so yeah,
I think
so
Adult Swim and Donkey learned that pretty hard.
yeah. Then the last news for today, the season of The Last of Us has finally come to an end. Episode 9 came out, so the season is finished, and the creator of The Last of Us came out and told about how they're gonna do the second season. And it looks like the second game, The Last of Us Part 2, is gonna be adapted in more than one season. So The Last of Us Part 2 is gonna be a season 2 and 3 of The Last of Us TV show. So I don't know if you've played The Last of Us Part 2. It's a pretty divisive game. I really, really love this game. But the length of the game is like 35 hours. The first game is like 10, 12 hours. So adapting this game into one season seems like it would be a bit much. So now they're already saying they're preparing to do 2 more seasons. Is there something that you're interested in watching and following up, Garden?
Honestly, I haven't gotten to the Last of Us series, and yeah, I'm getting hate for it. Like everybody keeps telling me to play this damn game.
And
But
watch this damn show.
yeah, I actually do need to get into it though, because like it seems like it'd be a really good game to play, like a story kind of game, and
Mhm.
I
Like the
think
best.
this
Like one
yeah
of the
like
best games.
Be
If you like
prepared to
Resident
cry.
Evil 4, I think this took my place. Resident Evil 4 was my favorite game of all time. This took the
mhm,
top after the last. Of Us came out. The Last of Us
mhm,
became my favorite game of all time.
yeah,
Oh man, when
like
X, oh man, I cried. It was horrible, and it was only in like the first 10 seconds of the game, dude. It
Yeah,
was
the
a,
first scene is pretty tough to watch.
yeah,
As is the first episode of the Last of Us TV show, you know.
bro.
Yeah,
It's the first 10 seconds. I can't even talk about it because the show is just that good.
but the
It's oh,
ending,
you
I
got
think they really nailed the ending too. The nuance in the game is really well represented into the TV show. That I can tell you. Yeah,
well. I quick question about that actually. So for someone who has never seen the show or played the game, or knows anything about the world or what's going on, would you recommend that they play the game or watch the show?
I think that they are both so well done that I don't think that there's a better way from one to another. I think they're
just get into one, I
both
think, right?
good in like they're both telling the same story, right? And they're both telling
Mm-hmm.
it very in a similar fashion. So you can start with either one of these. I bet like starting with the show might be easier because it's a lesser time investment than you do with the game.
Mhm.
But I feel like because the TV show has to be shorter, I feel like the game is still the best way to start because you have the whole story. You know, you have the build up and everything. Where on the TV show, some of the things go fast.
Oh, okay. So
So
it's not the same like playing Naruto, because like the Naruto game series, they do tell the story, but the
yes,
thing, the thing is like you would need to watch the anime to get like absolutely
yeah,
everything.
that's the opposite. Where the game is like so meticulous and like Ellie and Joel are talking nonstop throughout the game. Like they're building a relationship. In the TV show, you feel less of this relationship because they have less time to build it up, you know? So I would say the best way is still to start with the game and then the TV show, just because of that. So you
Okay.
get a more full experience the first time and then you can rewatch because the show is like incredibly well done. Like it's really really good.
Good
So
story is a good story. So I'm glad to hear that they're not trying to change anything up or like, oh, let me put some artistic
well,
swag in
they
here, right?
changed some
Yeah.
stuff, but it's
Well,
not like breaking anything, you know.
yeah,
Hmm.
kind of glad that it's not like
Hmm.
a lot of people was hating on Halo because of how they changed Halo 4 from the rest of the Halos. Yeah.
Well, it was a new dev. Like, I expect them to change it. Like it's a new team.
True. But then it's also kind of like the person gunning after the previous boss's position, right? Well, the previous boss was a boss for a
True.
reason, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of make people hate it though, because they're like, okay, I know you're a new dev, but like, what the heck? Like, you completely made it entirely different, and we don't like it. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
That's interesting to hear. I guess for like the older audience or someone who doesn't have as much free time, then like the show would be up your alley. But for someone with more time and is willing to really get down and gritty with the details, then I think the
yeah,
game has
the
a
game
lot more to offer.
has a lot more to offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they also put the DLC into the TV show. Like, there's a lot in the TV show. The DLC happens like in episode 7 or something. So
Oh, wow.
it's really complete. Really
Dude, I might
complete.
put on the pirate hat soon. Then.
Yeah. So that was it for the news this week. It was really nice seeing you both, and I hope you had a great time. And see you next week.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
I appreciate you having me on.